"Is there anyone down there?" I turned my head and saw some 3 or 4 rows were already killed, on the ground. There were some 12 people among the dead. I also want to mention what my child said while we were lined up in the ghetto. She said, "Mother, why did you make me wear the Shabbat dress? We are taken to be shot." And when we stood near the dugout, near the grave, she said, "Mother, why are we waiting? Let us run." Some of the people tried to run, but they were caught immediately, and they were shot right there. It was difficult to hold on to the children. We took all our children, not ours, and we carried them. We were anxious to get it all over. The suffering of the children was difficult. We all trudged along to come near to the place, to come near to the end of the torture of the children. The children were taking leave of their parents and parents of their elder people.
How did you survive through all this?
We were driven. We were already undressed. The clothes were removed and taken away. Our father did not want to undress. He remained in his underwear. We were driven up to this grave, this shallow.
And these garments were torn off his body, weren't they?
When it came to our turn, our father was beaten. We prayed, we begged with my father to undress, but he would not undress. He wanted to keep his underclothes. He did not want to stand naked.
And then they tore them off?
Then they tore off the clothing, off the old man, and he was shot. I saw it with my own eyes. And then they took my mother, and we said, "Let us go before her." But they caught her and shot her too. And then there was my grandmother, my father's mother, standing there. She was 80 years old and had 2 children in her arms. And then there was my father's sister. She also had children in her arms, and she was shot on the spot with the babies in her arms.
And finally, it was your turn.
And finally, my turn came. There was my younger sister, and she wanted to leave. She prayed with the Germans. She asked to run naked. She went out to the Germans with one of her friends. They were embracing each other, and she asked to be spared, standing there naked. He looked into her eyes and shot the 2 of them. They fell together in their embrace, the 2 young girls, my sister and her young friends. Then my second sister was shot, and then my turn did come.
Were you asked anything?
We turned towards the grave, and then he turned around and asked, "Whom shall I shoot first?" We were already facing the grave. The German asked, "Whom do you want me to shoot first?" I did not answer. I felt him take the child from my arms. The child cried out and was shot immediately, and then he aimed at me. First he held onto my hair and turned my head around. I stayed standing. I heard a shot, but I continued to stand. And then he turned my head again, and he aimed the revolver at me and ordered me to watch. And then he turned my head around and shot me. Then I fell to the ground, into the pit amongst the bodies, but I felt nothing. The moment I did feel, I felt a sort of heaviness, and I thought maybe I'm not alive anymore. But I feel something after I died. I thought I was dead, that this was the feeling which comes after death. Then I felt I was choking, people falling over me. I tried to move and felt that I was alive and that I could rise. I was strangling. I heard the shots, and I was praying for another bullet to put an end to my suffering, but I continued to move about. I felt that I was choking, strangling, but I tried to save myself, to find some air to breathe. And then I felt that I was climbing towards the top of the grave above the bodies. I rose, and I felt the bodies pulling at me with their hands, biting at my legs, pulling me down, down. And yet, with my last strength, I came up on top of the grave. And when I did not know the place. So many dead people lying all over. I wanted to see the end of this stretch of dead bodies, but I could not. It was impossible. They were all lying, dying, suffering, not all of them dead, but in their last sufferings. Naked, shot, but not dead. Children crying, mother, father. I could not stand on my feet.
Were the Germans still around?
No, the Germans were gone. There was nobody there, no one standing up.
And you were undressed and covered in blood.
I was naked, covered with blood, dirty from the other bodies, with the excrement from other bodies, which was poured onto me.
What did you have in your head?
When I was wounded, I was shot in the head.
Was it in the back of the head?
I'm seared to this day from the shot by the Germans, and yet somehow I did come out of the grave. This was something I thought I would never live to recount. And yet, I was searching among the dead for my little girl, and I cried for her. Merkele was her name, Merkele. There were children crying, mother, father, but they were all smeared with blood, and one could not recognize the children. I cried for my daughter. From afar, I saw two women standing. I went up to them. They did not know me, and I did not know them. And then I said who I was, and they said, "So you survived." And there was another woman crying, "Pull me out from amongst the corpses. I'm alive, help." We were thinking how we could escape from the place. The cries of the woman, Help! Pull me out from the corpses. We pulled her out. Her name was Mikla Rosenberg. We removed the corpses and the dying people who held on to her and continued to bite. She asked us to take her out, to free her, but we did not have the strength. The Germans ordered that all the corpses be heaped together into one big heap, and with shovels they were heaped together. All the corpses, among them many still alive. Children running about the place. I saw them. I saw the children. They were running after me, hanging on to me. Then I sat down in the field and remained sitting with the children around me, the children who got up from the heap of corpses.
Then the Germans came again and rounded up the children?
The Germans came and were going around the place. We were ordered to collect all the children, but they did not approach me, and I sat there watching how they collected the children. They gave a few shots and the children were dead. They did not need many shots. The children were almost dead, and this Rosenberg woman pleaded with the Germans to be spared, but they shot her.
Mrs. Yoselewska, after they left the place, you went right next to the grave, didn't you?
They all left, the Germans and the non-Jews from around the place. They removed the machine guns and they took the trucks. I saw that they all left, and the four of us, we went onto the grave, praying to fall into the grave, even alive, envying those who were already dead and thinking what to do now. I was praying for death to come. I was praying for the grave to be opened and to swallow me alive. Blood was spurting from the grave in many places, like a well of water. And whenever I pass a spring now, I remember the blood which spurted from the ground, from that grave. I was digging with my fingernails, trying to join the dead in that grave. I dug with my fingernails, but the grave did not open. I did not have enough strength. I cried out to my mother, to my father. Why did they not kill me? What was my sin? I have no one to go to. I saw them all being killed. Why was I spared? Why was I not killed? And I remained there, stretched out on the grave 3 days and 3 nights.
And then a shepherd went by.
I saw no one. I heard no one. Not a farmer passed by. After 3 days, shepherds drove their herd onto the field, and they began throwing stones at me, but I did not move. At night, the herds were taken back, and during the day, they threw stones, believing that either it was a dead woman or a mad woman. They wanted me to rise, to answer, but I did not move. The shepherds were throwing stones at me until I had to leave the place. I hid near the grave. A farmer passed by after a number of weeks.
He took pity on you, he fed you, and he helped you join a group of Jews in the forest. And you spent the time until the summer of 1944 with this group, until the Soviets came.
I was with them until the very end.